In a world where everything is ranked and everyone is trying to be number one, the story begins on Academy Island, where the transfer student hero, Shinohara, addresses the school as the newest 7-star student. As he introduces himself, he arrogantly declares that he's better than everyone challenging the other students to take him on. However, this is revealed to be a lie, and immediately after his speech, he starts to panic, wondering what he should do next. Hiro checks his phone as he realizes that everyone now views him as a loser, which makes him feel overwhelmed. We learn that the students' ranks are determined by the number of stars they collect, and the most efficient way to acquire stars is by playing games against other students. So the authorities recommend this method. To reach the coveted rank of 7 stars, Hiroto reveals that he doesn't even want to become a 7-star student, so he wonders why this is happening to him. A few hours earlier, Hiroto got lost while he was looking for the academy and a beautiful girl named Sasaka Eyes, so he called up to her, asking for directions. She tells him he is in the wrong district. As she checks his phone, pointing at his academy's location, Sasa tells him not to be so formal, since they are both in the second year, revealing that his device displays his academy information to those with a higher rank. Hiroyo said he skipped the tutorial, so Sasa gives him an introduction, explaining that the phone has its own social media app called Stock, which he can use to communicate with the other students. She teaches him how to send a game request and leads him to the right district. But she realized that it's time for her to return to her academy, so she bids him farewell. However, as she walks away, the sprinkler suddenly sprays water error. This makes her upset, as she wonders if Hiroto planned this, accusing him of leading her on. Hiroto tries to deny this, but Sasa interrupts him, saying he is trying to take advantage of her. She challenges into a game, which he accepts, telling her to listen to him. When it's over, Sasa tells him to send a game request, since the request must come from the lower-ranked player, and he complies, but he wasn't able to set the game details. Sasa explains that the lower-rank player gets to pick the game so they aren't disadvantaged, but Hiroto sent our blank request, so he must think he can beat her at anything, but this isn't the case, since Hiroto didn't even know how to use the device. Because of this, Sasa picks the game, and she chooses to have a turn-based staring contest with him, where the player who has any form of reaction loses. Sasa explains that during each turn, a player gets to make an expression in an attempt to make the opponent react, and Hiroto is ready to start right away, which surprises Sasa because he didn't even set an ability. She explains that abilities can heavily influence the game, so she thinks Hiroto isn't taking her seriously. Hiroto has 1 minute to get her to react, but Sasa uses her time manipulation ability to reduce it to 10 seconds. This surprises him, and his turn is over. Before he can even do anything, Sasa uses another ability, creating a beam sword, which she uses to attack him, trying to make him show his exhaustion. And we see other students start to watch their game. Sasa's glad our clothes are drying off, but the sprinkler suddenly sprays at her as her clothes get wet again, which makes her sword disappear as her clothes get wet again. Sasa reveals she was about to have her orientation ceremony, and she was meant to give a speech as the academy representative, but she thinks about having to do it while soaking wet. Her turn ends, and she accuses Hiroto with setting up their sprinkler, but Hiroto says it was just a coincidence. She feels the other students staring at her, and she gets embarrassed, telling them all to stop looking. But this ends up causing her to lose the game, and her star gets transferred to Hiroto. At that moment, a butler calls out to Hiroto, informing him that had Mistress Natsumi wanted to see him. He goes to her office, and Natsumi tells him he made quite the mess, saying he broke an important rule. She claims he used underhanded methods to defeat the student of another academy, which usually isn't an issue, but she reveals that his opponent achieved the highest entrance exam score in her academy, and as the top student on the island, she has never lost before. She is from the Seilaji family, who are the founders of the Academy Island, and her grandfather Masin is the current head director of the island, so she is considered as a VIP Natsumi, reveals Hiro barely passed the entrance exam, which gives him a very low status, but he ended up defeating Sasa, so this could offend Masamine, as she claims the director would do anything to protect his family's name, but she suggests the academy can save him by turning him into a 7-star student. Not so he explains that if Sasa was defeated by another 7-star student, Masamine wouldn't be as obsessed, but Hiroto says he doesn't deserve the status because he's only at 1 star. However, Natsumi tells him to look at his star, and he realized that it's red, which is strange, because it's supposed to be white. Natsumi explains that it's a special star which allows the holder to tell one lie about anything, so she asks him to use that lie to turn himself into a fake 7-star student. Natsumi further explains that not many people are aware of the red star's effect, but she knows about it because she used to have one in her possession. Natsumi reveals her plan is to make him look like a genius who made it to 7 stars on his first day, but she also gives him the option to leave the academy. Instead, Hiroto thinks about his goal, to find a certain someone, so he ends up choosing to go along with her plan. Back in the present, Natsumi laughs at Hiroto, calling his speech the perfect psychological scam. She has arranged a dorm for him, giving him the location, so he immediately leaves to go there. While on his way, Sasa drags him into an alley, saying he heard his speech, so she wonders what he's up to. Sasa thinks he's planning to reveal her secret, so she begs him to stop saying she has her reasons for lying. Hiro has no idea what she's talking about, but Sasa tells him not to play dumb as she reveals that she isn't the real Sasa. She has been acting as Sasa's double at the academy, and her real name is Rina. Rina thinks her secret is out because he took the red star from her, saying the holder of the red star gets to know the lie of the previous holder, but Hirojo says he didn't know her secret until she told it to him. He admits that he's a total noob, but Rina doesn't believe him because he already has 7 stars. Hiro tells her he's been using the red star to lie about this, and that he's actually at the lowest rank, but he also has his reasons for lying. This makes Rina surprised as she realizes that he only won their game by accident and that she just revealed her secret to him. But Hiroto is also surprised since she isn't really the granddaughter of the director, so there was no reason for him to lie about being a 7-star student. He arrives at his dorm, which is revealed to be a mansion, and a girl named Yuki welcomes him inside. She introduces herself as his new assistant, saying she'll be staying in that house. Yuki reveals she doesn't like Natsumi, and Hiroto can relate to her, so she thinks they'll be able to get along. She secretly gives him a detailed explanation about the island, revealing that there are 20 academies on the island, and they get ranked every year. The academy receives benefits depending on its ranking, which is determined by the number of stars. She explains that students with 5 stars are considered advanced students. An academy has the higher it will rank, and an academy with a 7-star student will almost certainly reach the top rank, which is why 7-star students are being targeted by everyone on the island. She shows him the game results of Rina, but she knows it would be impossible for Hiroto to replicate such a record because Rina was able to use level 7 abilities, whereas he can only use level 1 abilities because his true rank is only 1 star, which puts him at a disadvantage against the other players. However, Yuki says the company will help him win games as long as he continues to act like a 7-star student. She shows him the game requests, and he is surprised to see that he already has 42. She helps him pick an opponent, saying he needs to make an impression because there are people who are still doubting his abilities. Hiro wonders how he's going to win, and she tells him they're going to cheat, telling him to wear an earpiece. The company's head of electronics, Kagaya, uses it to communicate with him, and Yuki reveals that Kagaya is a hacker, so she can hack his opponent's device to give her Rotu the advantage. Hiro calls it a sneaky tactic, and Yuki says it goes against the rules. but he is determined to do whatever it takes to be the strongest, so he chooses to go along with the plan. The next day, he defeats his opponent with the company's help, and he walks to the alley thinking it was too easy. He realizes how reliable they are. So he now believes in the company. Later, we see Hiroto walking around the campus when the company informs him about a favorable game request from a student named Haru. He goes to an arena where the announcer introduces Haru and Hiroto to everyone. Rina is welcomed as the special guest, and Haru challenges Hiroto to an anything goes 100-meter race, saying he'll never beat her speed. She brings out her bike, which Rina thinks is her secret weapon because vehicle performance is the key to winning the game, but Hiroto is still on foot, so everyone wonders what he's thinking. Hiroto was hoping that she won't use her nullify interference ability, but Haru reveals she is using it, saying his abilities are now useless. They begin the game, and Haru's vehicle dashes to the finish line, but it suddenly comes to a stop, launching her into the air. She is saved as a foam softens her landing, and Hiroto claims he has seen through her strategy. We learned that Yuki advised him to use 3 disabled abilities to counter the opponent's nullify interference, saying he needs 3 disabled abilities because his level is too low as Hiroto walks past Haru. He claims he used a level 7 disable ability to counter her nullification and then use a force stop ability to stop her bike, but in reality it was Kagaya's hacking skills that stopped the bike. He also lies about using a protection ability to soften her landing when it was really Kagaya who did this, and he crosses the finish line, allowing him to win the game. After the match, Rina approaches him, telling him she's going to beat him as she gives him a note, telling him to meet her afterwards. Before he goes there, he tells Yuki to stop listening for a while, so she disables the monitoring, telling him to be careful. He meets up with Rina in a secluded cafe, and he asks her about her. Secret Rina reveals that the real Sasa was kidnapped over a year ago, but the kidnapper didn't have any demands since she was Sasa's friend. She was asked to take her place to see what move the kidnapper would make. She reveals that the children of the Sailorjai family almost never go outside until they reach high school, so friends are provided for them, and she happened to be chosen as one of them. Because of this, the public doesn't know Sasa's real face, and it was easy for Rina to take her place. She doesn't know when the real Sasa would return, but she wants to protect Sasa's reputation. Until then, asking Hiroto to help protect her secret. Rina doesn't want Hiroto to lose because the holder of the Red Star will learn about her secret. She adds that Natsumi is protecting her because she is convinced that she's the real Sasa, and this makes Hiroto realize that he would get kicked out of the island if her secret comes out. He tells her about the childhood friend he's looking for, saying she is somewhere on the island, so he can't get kicked out until he finds her with their goals aligned. They decide to form an alliance, and they exchange ideas to stay in touch. The next day, he comes across Rina, and they act smug toward each other when suddenly they see a strange man laughing as he looks down on them. But that's where this video ends. If you want to see more of this series, let me know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.